prayer, please. Dear Lord Jesus, thank you for bringing us all together tonight. Thank you for these bright young people and all the hard work and promise that they hold for the future. Thank you for the town council, and let them do good works. In your name we pray. Amen.
Sir, can you state your name for the record? Can you state your
Dennis
name?
Wilson.
Just before this meeting officially starts, I want everybody to know Dennis and I have been friends coming up on somewhere in the neighborhood of 36 or 7 years. And we discovered about 5 years ago we were actually cousins. We didn't know that a long time.
Dennis, we're sorry. We're both.
At this time, I'll call our meeting to order. I'd like to thank everyone that took the time to come here this evening. Regardless if you have a specified purpose or you're just here to observe town of Troutman's government in action, we appreciate you taking the time to come. As we had a prayer before the meeting started, this time I'll ask you to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Mr. Ivy, if you can just lead it, please.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, I've been handed adjustments to the agenda to pull item number 6. The officer is injured and has an injury and can't attend. Item number 18, and delay it to next month. And then to pull item 25, I would like to leave 25 on there. It will not be pulled. We do have something to discuss. Any other adjustments to the agenda that need to be made? Hearing none, is there a motion? Councilperson Williams makes a motion to accept the agenda with the adjustments noted. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Councilperson Jablonski. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion is unanimous. There a motion to approve. I'm sorry. At this time, I'll turn it over to Councilperson Jablonski for our educational spotlight.
Tonight in the Education Spotlight, we proudly feature South Iredell High School students. We would like to recognize students who attend South Iredell High School. Here with us tonight, with these students, we have Mr. Tim Ivy, his principal, and Ms. Judy Britton, family and consumer science teacher. They will present each student sharing with us the why these students are being recognized this evening. As each of you is recognized, please stand until the next student is recognized. After each of you has been recognized individually, please all stand to be honored as a group. Then we would like each of you to come forward to receive a medallion and a patch from Mayor Wyatt. And each of us would like to shake each of your hands and congratulate you. Mr. Ivy, please, and Ms. Britton.
All right, thank you very much for inviting us here today. As I was introduced, I'm Tim Ivy, the very proud principal of South Iredell High School, and I'm excited tonight to be able to talk about some of our students that exemplify excellence at our school. And I'd like to start out with Haley Jones. She's nominated by Ms. Bright. And it says, Haley is always the first to jump in and help and is a true problem solver. She volunteers after school at the YMCA and is always ready to lend a hand. Even though Haley is a dedicated, successful student in a rigorous academic program, she always makes time to be a positive contributor to her community. Next, I'd like to introduce Michael Anderson, nominated by Ms. Dawn Cloche. Michael is an excellent student. He has a great attitude and works hard to focus on success. He truly lives up to the South Iredell motto. And unfortunately, Michael could not join us this evening. Next, we have Mr. Andrew Wilson. He's nominated by Ms. Nicole Jones. It is by a thorough knowledge of the whole subject that people are enabled to judge correctly of the past and to give proper direction to the future. These wise words, uttered by American President James Madison, epitomize the essence of Mr. Andrew Wilson, a senior in the International Baccalaureate Diploma Program at South Iredell High School. These words are fitting not only because of the holistic, rigorous education that Andrew has received throughout his experiences in the IB program, but also because of the inquisitive, thoughtful manner in which Andrew approaches situations and course content daily. Andrew exemplifies the ideal scholar. He is balanced, knowledgeable, caring, open-minded, and reflective. Andrew has been fondly deemed President Wilson by many of his teachers and his peers. And while Andrew does serve as the student body president at South Iredell High School, his nickname is more of a testament to his character and charisma than it is simply a title for the position he holds. While many high schoolers serve in student government, Andrew possesses traits that make a career in public service seem inevitable. He is exceptionally astute and always seeks to understand information before making a judgment. These traits are seldom held by teenagers, and they make Andrew a unique scholar. Next we have Zoe Sherrill, nominated by Mr. Kelly Guston. Zoe is an outstanding part of our school community. She brings such a positive attitude to class and school organizations, and she is smiling and always ready to help others. She volunteered to tutor and assist other students with challenging schoolwork during Smart Lunch and did so well that she ensured that they were prepared to pass and succeed in class. She exemplifies service, innovation, honor, and success. We also have Lucas Horton, nominated by Dawn Cloche. Lucas is very focused on succeeding. He's respectful, caring, and hardworking. He is an athlete at South and is truly a Viking, showing service, innovation, honor, and success. Next is Dylan Toe, nominated by Bonnie Estes. Dylan is a hardworking student. He takes every opportunity to improve his grades by doing test corrections, coming in for Smart Lunch, and even rewriting essays so he can improve and learn. Although he is quiet, he is very polite and a nice young man. He also participates in the marching band. Dylan is a very dedicated student and puts his all into everything he does. And the reason you guys have so many was because I told my staff at a faculty meeting, I said, guys, we have such outstanding students, and the town recognizes them. I said, you need to make sure that you send in lots of recommendations. So they took that to heart, and they really went out and sought out. So thank you very much for listening. We just have one more page. And we could go on from there. All right, our next student is Fabia Danafel, and she is recommended by Ms. Bonnie Estes. Fabia is an excellent and talented young lady who excels in French. She is a newcomer to the area, having just moved here from Switzerland last summer, but she seems to have transitioned beautifully. Fabia is an excellent student who writes and speaks beautifully in the French language. She is also involved in the International Club, which meets once a month after school to make an ethnic dish. They meet at an ethnic restaurant. She is a wonderful asset to our community of Vikings. Our next student is Ms. Kendall Packman, who could not be with us tonight, but Kendall is nominated by Ms. Bonnie Estes as well. Kendall is a natural leader. She not only exceeds in French class with a beautiful accent and a gift for speaking, but she also has a natural tendency to help those around her. Students know that if I am busy helping a student across the room, they can go to her and she can help them. She is sincere and dedicated to her responsibilities. She participates in marching band, theater, dance, and many other clubs at school. Kendall is a wonderful example of the kind of student we encourage others to be like at South. And Kendall actually wrote you guys a short email to tell you why she couldn't be here. She says, "Dear Sir or Madam of the Town of Troutman, what a wonderful honor to be recognized in the Town of Troutman Educational Spotlight. I sincerely appreciate the recognition and, more importantly, the fact that one of my teachers saw in me leadership traits that they value. Unfortunately, I am performing in the South Iredell High School Spring Musical, Sweeney Todd, this week, and opening night is tonight at 7 p.m. Again, I appreciate the honor and recognition and am very sorry to miss the opportunity to meet each of you. Sincerely, Kendall Patton." And I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Britton because this is her student that she nominated next.
I'd like to honor Courtney King. Courtney has achieved great grades. She helps others to do the same. Courtney is kind, helpful, and welcoming to students. She encourages others in the class, and once she learns a skill, she also teaches others. Non-judgmental, wonderful young lady. I also admire that this young lady is volunteering at Battered Women's Shelter. She also is organizing a 5K to raise funds and awareness for this shelter in our community. So she's a role model who epitomizes South.
And our last student is Miss Logan Potts, and she's nominated by Molly Cottle. Logan is a strong student and also an example of leadership and community service. Logan demonstrates strong moral values daily at school, home, and in the community. Logan's life experiences and her caring nature will benefit all that know her now and in the future.
Would you all please stand?
If you all would come up, turn around so your parents can and loved ones can take pictures of you in front of the council, please. Everybody, oh, I moved. You need to take it again?
So far. That's right. That's our story.
Wait, one more round of applause.
Y'all want the good news or bad news? We could make you stay for the 2-hour meeting, or we can give you all a minute or two to go ahead and head to other places you might prefer to be this evening.
Thank y'all for having us.
Any anybody that's out there that wants to move forward, of course, we don't need the seats reserved anymore. Feel free to move forward if you would like.
I see you out doing some golf swings in your yard the other day. I was trying to. Who did you have at the other end trying to catch? You were playing ball, you were hitting a golf ball. Okay. I was about to stop to see what that was all about. You have a good stance. You have a good stance.
Did you get voted in yet? Up at the county? You mean the county passed you?
Always works, my friend.
Tough crowd.
Universal language.
At this time, and thank you, Judy, what a wonderful group of kids, by the way. At this time, we'll ask John LaRue to come forward as our Park and Recreation Committee Chair and give a report.
Good evening, everyone. Park and Rec has been very busy here lately. One of the things at our last meeting, the Park and Rec Committee unanimously voted to present to the town board to allow golf carts to be used on the streets. At the pre-agenda meeting, the town council at this time felt like they needed more information, and so far, at this time, it has been tabled. We're hoping that they will continue the golf cart discussion in the near future, since it's something that the residents of the town have requested. And maybe after having some time to look into it, the town can come up with an ordinance that addresses everyone's concern. The Troutman Rotary Club is having a final workday on April 30 to complete the fit stations out here on the nature trail. The tentative date for the ribbon cutting will be for both the Rotary fit stations and the Joel Mashford Fitness Trail is the morning of June the 4th. It's going to be the same day as the Rotary's Miles for Matt 5K run. The town council has named the trail in 2011 after the former county manager who had helped with the development of the park. There have been a ton of people out there on the trail using the system. The town staff is working on signage, and the cost will be shared with the Rotary Club. Parks going to the dogs. Members of the dog park committee are meeting next week to finalize the final layout of the park so that we can start working on it very soon. Some of the things that we need to bring out, ESC has had an autism walk a couple of weeks ago in the park, and another group is planning an event to raise money for Rett syndrome in June. Now for the pavilion update. I can't say how much I can appreciate the staff from town, Sally Williams with all her efforts, and other members of the committee that they've worked extremely hard getting, we were way over budget. Evidently, construction costs have skyrocketed. And it's where we tried to get costs reduced, and at this time, I think we brought it down well enough to where tonight we will be recommended to the town council to approve the contract for the pavilion, and hopefully we can get it built before much longer. Something I would like to bring out was Albert Richardson. He was a large part of this park, getting it put together, both between the greenway and also the park itself. And every time that there was an event down in the park, you could always count on him being there, and he'd always have some kind words for everybody down there. He talked to a number of donors who have given generously to the park, and it was where he helped plan the actual physical location of it. He was prominent in the growth of the park and is making the park a realization now. I think everything that he had dreamed about is slowly coming to a fruition there. So the last thing I have is Wednesday The 25th of this month will be Wendy's night, and we hope everyone will go down and have something from Wendy's so that we can get a share of the profits there. Anything else that I can possibly answer? Thank you all very much.
Thank you. At this time, the public is invited to step up to the microphone and address the council. You have up to 3 minutes per individual to address the council and board.
Library report.
I skipped Rebecca, I'm sorry. We'll all do it. I think it will be, it normally is. Please come up, Rebecca, our library report.
Okay, first things first, I don't know if any of you have been to the library lately. We had a really big change last week. We have a whole new system. So if we are slow, I apologize. Basically, we went from a system that was just our 3 library branches in Iredell County to a system that is now statewide. It's run by the State Library of North Carolina. It's called NC Cardinal. The biggest perk to patrons, which is free, I might add, is that we have access to materials all across the state. So we no longer can pay for DVDs or CDs. We can get those. We may not have to order as many new books because we can borrow them. So it's a really big perk if one of you that has a library card is visiting somewhere in a different county. You can walk into that library with your card, check out as many books as you want, and then bring it back to us. So it's a really nice system. We're just in the process of learning, so bear with us. Next is we are now finally fully staffed, which we're really excited about. When I was promoted to Julie's full position, I hired Shelley Kennedy, who I mentioned to you guys before, for the program specialist position. Our part-timer at library then went and took Shelley's old position, so I had to fill another hole. So now we have Lorraine Stam as our part-time library assistant. She's been a substitute library teacher for over a decade, so she'll be a really good asset to have in the library. Next is the community garden. The Wendy's fundraising night we had on April 5th was really successful. We actually raised enough to purchase all the supplies needed to finish the garden in conjunction with the donations we have. So our first community garden workday will be Saturday, April 23rd from 2 to 4, where we'll be installing 3 additional raised garden beds that will mirror the 3 that are already there. Then we'll have a second workday on May 14th from 2 to 4. We'll install an 8-foot diameter circle butterfly garden. So we'll have that. So it should be done before Community Day. As for Community Day, it'll be Saturday, May 21st from 12 to 4, exactly a week after Front Porch Fest. We have a week to recuperate and then come back out and see us. We will have quite a lot going on. For vendors, we do have 5 spaces still available, so anyone that's here, or anyone that you know is welcome to apply to be a vendor. It's $15 and they can sell whatever they have, kind of get the word out about their company or whatever it is they do. We are excited to have a lot of community participation this year. Chief Sells has agreed to have PD host a table. Iredell County Animal Services has also agreed to host a table, and then I believe Justin's going to talk to the board about possibly hosting a table as well. So a lot of community participation, which is really nice. And then last but not least, we have 2 events next week we want to invite you to. The first is a Grace Hill Puppet Show, and it's one of the programs we're able to host because of the grant you guys gave to us. It's Tuesday, April 19th at 4. And the other is the Friends of the Library meeting next Thursday will be at 6. So any members, non-members, interested members are welcome to attend, and you get to see how we spend money, how we're improving the library, give us input on what you'd like to see, and things like that. Questions?
Thank you very much.
Rebecca, you might want to mention that our entertainment this year is Ulysses Long.
I told him last week.
Oh, did you?
No.
Okay.
Last time. Yep. But thanks for
Thank you, Rebecca. At this time, we have comments from visitors and guests. The public is invited to address the town council with comments, concerns. Period is limited to 3 minutes per individual. I have 3 that have signed in: Randy Pittman, Mike Todd, and Southern Treats. Is there anyone else wishing to address that has not signed in? Mr. Pete, are you wishing to address the board at some point tonight?
I just like to congratulate the ones that came in office this year and yourself too. Well, I heard a good word up in Montrose, West Point about the turkey dinners you took around. That's very godly of you. That's all I have for right now.
Thank you, sir. Randy Pittman, you're the first up, please.
Sir.
And then not to knock you off anything that you may have prepared, but to let you know, pre-agenda this week, the, board did take, some action, I should make that one. And that, we have assigned a committee, that will be Councilman Hinkle, myself, and Erica to look at, ordinances and policies that other towns have in reference to vendors. And we will be reporting back to the board to make a decision once we find everything that we've got. So the town is looking into it, but feel free to say what you would like.
Maybe I don't need to be here.
No, yes you do.
I'll try to read this. What this is, I just have a problem with other vendors coming in on the money days and getting a small piece of the pie and leaving town with it. I just feel like other businesses here have had to pay their dues to be here. And I don't think legally you can stop anybody. I just don't, but, I think I need to read this. And, feel free. I graduated in 1978, but I didn't mean to, so I'll try. To open this is not about competition. I believe competition is a good thing and will make us better and give the residents more choices, but it needs to be fair competition. Same rules, same commitment to Troutman. To start a brick and mortar business in Troutman, when I came here, my wife told me one day that I had to come up here and give y'all a fee so that I could go get a permit. Give y'all a fee for a permit to go get a permit. And I told my wife, I said, this ain't gonna happen. Anyway, she come and paid it. I still don't like it. Anyway, you gotta have permits to start a building permit process. For existing signs on buildings, you have to have a permit. For an A-frame sign on a sidewalk, you gotta pay a fee. Okay, that's what we have to do that have a business here. The people that roll in here on weekends, I don't get it. We pay Troutman a monthly water bill, and I would put my water bill against any other restaurant in this town. I'm not saying that maybe we don't waste some, but we keep a clean place. And a lot of times we're washing, when my help goes, it's already clean. We have power, gas, water, rent, insurance. I have to even pay for extra parking in my place, and rightfully so. Before the first customer comes in every morning, we're looking at about $200 a day, and then we gotta make some money to pay payroll and so on. We have paid our dues and will continue to do so. We buy and live local, both personal and business needs. We employ 30+ people that also spend money in this town. If I decided to downsize and get me a concession trailer, I cut out a lot of overhead. Just rent me a lot somewhere, and Bob can do most of the work, and I can sit at the house. You know, these people that say they have fundraisers, and we also do that, but these people that say they have a business for fundraising, they still have to make a profit to have that business for that fundraiser. So it's not all about, they're gonna get X amount, and then you're gonna mark it up, and then you're gonna make your charity. You know, personally, I'm gonna stay out of it. Fundraiser companies are not conducting their business for profit, and their sales tax may not come back to Troutman. And the fundraiser proceeds are minimal compared to profits. They should comply with the same rules that we do. Permit sales tax should be paid to Troutman by making the permit fee high enough that covers taxes and so on. I don't feel like it should be $25 to come and set up in Troutman because it costs me more than that daily. I feel like it should be up there. $250, $500. If you want to come in, come on. We buy inventory based off previous week's sales, and this has made a difference in our sales, plus at least 3 other restaurants in town we have spoken with. If they're allowed to continue to do this without cost, then we should be given a head's notice so we can set it right beside of them. If you want competition, let's do it. Stay with the ones that brought you. We have a lot of good restaurants in Troutman, a lot of good businesses, with a lot of good people that work hard and spend and live local. And this is just not restaurant thing. I'm sure that the new florist does not want to see a drive-up truck come and sell flowers one weekend and be gone. Naturally, they can do it cheaper. Or a local tire store would not want to see somebody pull up and sell tires for a day. Who's gonna honor those warranties after they leave town? Or an ice cream truck pull in and just hit us for a Saturday. Do we really want Troutman to be full of mobile vendors? I personally have had a concession business and done very well at it. And I had all the fun I could stand when I did it. I hope I've made some sense. I'm a little bit nervous. I'm trying to picture all of y'all. I'm gonna drop that there. This was about 41 years ago. One Saturday night, I had a date with a young girl. And I worked all that day cleaning my car. Back then, you used to go cruising town and show off your car and your date. We went to the movies, went out to eat. We were cruising town, and she said, "Do you mind pulling over up here? There's this guy that I'd like to talk to." Well, I pulled over, and the last time I seen her, she was waving, "Hey, I need a ride." You should dance with the one that brought you.
Thank you. Southern Treats was next with the same topic, if you all would like to come up. We need your legal name being here speaking for the record.
Well, my name is Pat Parker,
Yes.
and John Scarpina and Southern Treats here in Troutman. Randy and called this afternoon and said they were coming, and wondered if we would come with them. We were right across the street from them, and the town has been extremely outstanding for us, and everyone's been very nice. But I do understand where he's coming from with the fact that we're making a large investment into the town because we want to be part of Troutman. Randy's definitely part of Troutman. But in our case, we've gone even more to the extreme. We're upgrading the building in some degree with your guys' help. We're also making the expenditure of a trailer so that we would be able to serve more of it for the town events at the park and so forth, so that we did a better job. I like the point that you should dance with the person that you came with and leave with them. But ultimately, you're a small community on a huge growth pattern. And I don't think there's a restaurant or an ice cream store in this town that doesn't want to be here. And it's a struggle to get established in a small town. And everyone, like I said, has treated us well. Randy deals with more issues on a daily basis than we do. There's not a whole lot of ice cream trucks that come in and roll in, but it's feasible. We had at the Front Porch Fest meeting, we bring in a vendor that basically competes with me, and y'all are reviewing the possibility of limiting what that person can do. But I see from his point of view, it's not unusual for me to ride by a food line and see all these pork pot things that where everybody's selling it. And it would make a difference because you tend to think that since it's for a charity, that you're gonna run by there and do your part. So having a little bit more control over the number and giving some heads up and picking what you're going to support, I think makes a little bit more sense. So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mike, I had you on here, but we have Muriel later down in our agenda. Is that fine for them, or you need something to? Just to confirm, there's no others wishing to speak from the public? Hearing none, we'll move to the consent agenda. Is there a motion?
make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Councilperson Williams made a motion to accept all items on the consent agenda, seconded by Mayor Pro Tem T. Ross Strong. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimous. New business, annexation request, Jeffrey T. Lancaster, 277 Murlock Road. This time I now declare we have a public hearing.
The property, is 6 acres, it's contiguous to the town limits. It meets all the conditions for annexation, so staff recommends approval.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak during the public hearing as to this annexation issue? Any questions of council? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing. Councilman Troutman made the motion to close the public hearing, seconded by Mayor Pro Tem T. Ross Young. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Is there a motion as to the annexation request?
I make a motion that, we grant the annexation as requested by approving ordinance 16-01.
Motion's been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Paul Hinkle, seconded by Councilperson Judy Jablonski.
Mayor, I'm sorry to interrupt. That ordinance number is 0616. It was incorrect on the first agenda, but the revised agenda that was sent out today and left at your dais.
Now, you said
is
it's got
correct.
1601.
Yeah, that was the text amendment amount, but the ordinance was.
So it's 0616?
Yes.
All right,
0616.
amend my,
Does the maker of the
motion.
motion amend his motion to be 06-16?
Yes, I do.
Is the second of the motion okay with the amendment to the original motion?
Yes.
Now that we have a proper amended motion and a second to the amended motion, consider adoption, motion to adopt ordinance 06-16. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Moves us to item number 19, Troutman ESC Park Pavilion. Sally Williams, councilperson, please speak.
I come tonight to ask you to approve the contract to Southern Constructors for construction of the pavilion in the amount of $256,529.
Any discussion or any motions?
I'll make a motion that we approve this contract. Our town attorney
We
has
approve
looked,
a contract
he
or
has
enter into a contract?
to approve the contract for this amount.
We had it over, I did earlier today, but,
Yes, it's right here. This is-
yeah, I found it.
And, Gary's had an opportunity to look at it and it's fine.
So there's no more additional monies that we needed for the pavilion?
No, ma'am.
To correct the motion made by the person making it, are you entering these documents as evidence and stating they've been reviewed by town council, and you are making a motion that we adopt this as it is written?
Yes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded, motion made by Councilperson Williams, seconded by Councilman James Troutman. Any further discussion?
Does this also include, any, architectural fees that are left over or still?
No, that is strictly the contract to the Southern
It's just
Construction.
still strict contract.
Yes.
Okay, the architectural fees are paid.
All but $2,000 to $3,000.
If you all will direct your questions through the chair, we'll go on. The architect fees have been, they got out a long time ago. They got their money up front, but
Did you say there was still some that's due?
$2,000, according to our original agreement to pay, and I'm sure we'll get a bill for it.
We didn't include those funds in
that, it's
No.
not in this document that she's got the motion on. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Now that the contract portion of Councilmember Williams has passed, we need to consider a budget.
Yes, I'm asking you to make the budget amendment for $100,000 that council voted on last summer to go into the fund to build the pavilion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Councilmember Williams made a motion to, make a budget amendment for $100,000 due to a vote from the 2015 council and seconded by Councilmember Jablonski. And just for those in attendance, the reason that it requires under discussion, is the reason it requires an amendment is even though that motion was made back then to earmark $100,000, it was not budgeted for. So we're now having to go into our reserve funds to move it over and make it, budget accessible and expenditure. Any other discussion?
So that I'm clear, because I wasn't clear. He made the motion to spend the money, but we didn't budget for it.
That's correct.
Did we just not talk about it at the budget process, or?
I was not here then, that would be a good question for the town manager.
No, we did not budget for it. It was discussed in July after the current budget was adopted, and the council made a motion to finish construction of the pavilion to earmark $100,000. This is really a technical budget amendment because the council's already approved the money for it, so this accounts for it.
It's not technical, it's not in our budget. It means we're going into the reserve fund to get the $100,000, as our current budget does not have $100,000 in it. Yes, we have funds on hands, but they are in the reserve fund. So at the time of the motion, to be clear, it was to spend the money, but they never budgeted for it.
Because when this, like Ann said, when this came up, and it came up in agenda briefing, it was after the budget, current budget.
To dot the i's and cross the t's on the issue, it would have been appropriate at that time to make the motion that the budget, money be budgeted. It just was not done. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Mike Todd, if you would come forward. At this time, we got to consider request for Troutman Business Council to paint a mural on building at Main and Wagner Streets.
Wish I was in number 18. Okay, so I am here as part of the Troutman Business Council Executive Committee. So it's a little different on this side. We've been working on ways to try to figure out how to improve the downtown for the downtown businesses. And one idea that came up all the way back in, I think it was 2009, in the small town Main Street committee, was to replace this mural above their business, which I'm sure, I thought they were all here to hear me speak. But anyway, so going back through, I contacted the historian in Statesville and found this picture from 1936 where the Coke and Dr. Pepper mural was up on the building. In doing my research, I came across where they have actually proven that these murals being replaced will revive a downtown. It's brought businesses back, you know, the residents come, people with old cars come. There's several, you know, things that it does. And I just feel like this would be a way for the town to say, hey, let's start cleaning up, let's start doing something and show that, you know, we are in to help the local businesses. I've contacted Coke in Charlotte, Atlanta. A month later, they did actually call me back. We're still playing phone tag, but however, I have found out that it takes 3 to 5 years to get a grant from Coke to fund one of these murals. We had a wayfinding meeting the other day, and I can't remember the guy's name, Buzz. And it was interesting because what did he pop up on there? The murals, and showed that these do in fact bring life to a downtown. We've contacted a local artist who was recommended through the Iredell Arts Council, and he's given us a price. He originally came to do both murals with $6,200 and talked him down to $5,800 to do both. When the guy was here for the wayfinding, he actually said that they average about $5,800 for one mural. So to have that painted on the brick, I thought that was actually a pretty good deal. As of right now, he can do it and have it completed before Front Porch Fest. Salisbury, Mooresville, Statesville, Cornelius, Huntersville, Davidson, and even Sherrills Ford. And, you know, you go through Sherrills Ford and bam, there's a mural in the middle of nowhere. So everybody remembers it. So I would like to see Troutman get on board with these murals. So I'm asking for your support.
What about the owner of the building? I don't even know who owns it.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, really?
And I'm pretty sure that the business underneath it will support this. So, and actually I was hoping Randy was gonna stay here because I think between Southern Treats and Randy's, this is gonna be very appropriate for that intersection.
The artist that you spoke to about doing it, are they still using all the pigments that, I mean, this original Coke mural, they've got chart that shows you all the pigments and the different colors. Is he using the same quality materials that they use in recycling?
Yeah, he actually said that which this guy does murals, and actually he called me the other day and he said, hey, I can't hold your place in line because I think Stacey's now trying to hire this guy too, but he does a lot of stuff in Charlotte. I talked to him about the paint. It's from like Spain or some craziness, so, and I would have a pretty good guess that that's probably lead paint up there, so. We're not going back with lead paint.
I just wanted to talk.
But anyway, yeah, he promised me and assured me this is of the highest quality.
Final question I got, of course, just like this picture shows, there is some aluminum or other type of metal up there and wooden slats. Is this price including getting that down, or do we?
No, we're gonna have to get that down.
That probably was a metal sign over with slats, don't you think?
Yeah, believe it or not, that
It was a
metal
boat
sign,
scene.
that was actually a Coke mural at one time. And then also, if you go up and look at it, you can actually see there's a sailboat on there.
That was North Point Realty's sailboat, back in the 80s. Is there a motion?
There was a discussion with Buzzell how kind of, the reason that some of these, when you directly paint them on bricks, they fade and has obviously UVs from the sun. And I talked with Todd about that, and yes, he checked the gentleman, and the paint is supposed to be a sufficient quality that it does protect from UV damage. So obviously it's gonna last there forever, but it's gonna last a lot longer than 2 or 3 years with some of the murals that are painted directly on walls. And Mr. Buzzell mentioned that, or David Bradley, even, he was part of the meeting, mentioned that they tend to fade away very quickly, so. this
Yeah,
should be one
he
that-
said you're looking at like, obviously after about 3 years of being in direct sun, you're gonna start seeing some fading, but he said that if you're not pressure washing it and all that stuff, that it'll last a good while. And The one that's up there, behind that, has been up there since 1936, and you can still see the words Coca-Cola. So
Okay.
hopefully, I don't think we'll have that kind of success.
That's what led the paint will do for you.
And he's doing both, Coke and Dr. Pepper.
Correct, that was to do both that. And I will tell you, if when you're driving down, when you get to about the tally house, if you look forward, you can see that from all the way up there.
Is there a motion? I think we all on the council at some point in time have all agreed individually in private discussions that.
And I guess the motion is
Apparently,
on this.
yes.
The ice cream people here. You see out there it says Troutman Drugstore, would you like to put Southern Treats above that, help defray the cost of it?
You know, believe it or not, that drugstore is still up there too.
Yes, it is.
Because it was right there in that building.
Mike, who would remove the wooden slats and the panels up there now? Yeah, you said
That part we're gonna have to figure out. I don't know if
That's-
town maintenance can do it or the property owner will do it.
But Southern Treats up there instead of the garage.
It says Troutman Drugs.
Let me get the Coke now first.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I mean, that wasn't included in the price. I mean, I'll figure out how to get it down as long as the property owner's okay with it.
I'm trying to get a motion.
Just confirm for me that the person who's doing it has the reputation, people have been contacting.
I can tell you, and I can even send you, he's shown me his work. He's doing some work for Gordon's up in Statesville. He's also, this is actually the second time I've met this guy. The first time I met him, and it had nothing to do with this, he's contracted by several of the bars and stuff in Charlotte where he actually goes in and does their full scenes inside. And like I said, I've seen some of his murals. I can promise you, he is overqualified for doing just this.
So what type of motion do you need? Was just a support motion, or what do you need?
I would like a funding motion. That's why I said I wanted to be number 18.
$6,400 to get this project done.
$5,800.
Out here, Mayor.
If we could be recognized, I just wanted to add something. This coming weekend, we rented a Amanda thing to start sanding down the metal roof and repaint it. So
That is good.
if we
That
get
is-
some help, we might want to tackle taking down that thing while we've got the bucket.
And we've already paid for it.
So what you need from us is $5,800 funding, so it's right.
And what do we have in our budget left for the year for downtown improvements?
$500.
So we only need 5,300 now.
It's getting cheaper
We
by
have
the
some
moment.
We have some money that we can move around.
I'd like to go ahead and make the motion, that we, support the mural program, to support our local businesses, to support our desire to, market, make more, to increase the marketability of Troutman to, not only citizens, but outsiders as well. And, so, again, I'll make the motion that we, provide the $5,800, to, Mike Todd to, coordinate and lead, the putting up of the Coca-Cola / Dr. Pepper mural above the Southern Treats business. Hopefully by the time we have the front porch.
Second.
Councilmember Hinkle made the motion to spend up to $5,800 to do a Coke Dr. Pepper mural, for better directions in our records. It's facade above Southern Treats as it currently resides. Seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Young. Is there any further discussion?
I just wondered if you saw the article in the paper a couple of weeks ago where they're doing a filming of a TV show in Mooresville, And there were 2 artists from Asheville that came and did a mural on the side of Mooresville's building for that show, and it's gonna stay there when the show is over with. And I didn't know if maybe you could contact them, just get a price from them, maybe they'll be cheaper. It wasn't, it depicted more of Mooresville's, background in town, it wasn't a Coke mural.
What are we gonna do to this gentleman?
Yes, we
By
could.
delaying to investigate some.
Well, Sports Fest is how many weeks away?
Right, it's fast approaching, and this gentleman was already a little dubious at first about getting it done by then, I believe.
Yeah, and I'll have to find out if we're even within that deadline anymore, but it would be nice to get it done before then, but if we can't, I would still like to see it done anyway.
Well, this is not the first time this has been discussed, so I
No,
think we've
and
looked at all kinds of options.
We've been
we
talking
have
about this
and-
since 2009.
And the amendment to, pay for it's on the floor. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Look really great.
Item number 21, resolution 04-16, resolution regarding distribution of proceeds from proposed ABC store. Councilmember Paul Hinkle.
Well, basically, it's just to follow up on our conversation of this past Monday's agenda briefing, in which I proposed to amend the proceeds from profit, our formula for the upcoming establishment of ABC store, deleting Help Ministries and redistributing that 12.5% portion to the town of Troutman.
Is that in the form of a
That's
motion?
one of the motion, yes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Councilmember Hinkle to strike from the current proceeds list 12.5% from Help Ministry to be redistributed toward the town of Troutman, seconded by Councilmember Williams. Is there any further discussion?
Mayor?
So that takes this resolution and adds 4 to it, right?
I'm sorry, what now?
The resolution 0416 only has 3 on it, now we put 4.
I'm sorry?
Well, I think in this portion, that indicates that the 12.5 would go to the town, because the town obviously gets what we don't portion out to other, that would go return to the town, yes, for your town, yes.
Yes.
That's what that
Yes,
indicates to
ma'am.
me.
The motion would really be to adopt this resolution, which does exactly what Paul's described.
I make the motion, then I'll amend my motion, clarify.
Hold on, we've got one on the floor and seconded. The best thing to do is let this one die or be out butchered. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed say nay. Nay. Motion fails unanimously. Now we'll take the correct motion, which is,
My motion is to adopt resolution 04-16 as indicated here in the document before us.
is there a second?
Second.
Motion to adopt resolution 0416 titled Resolution Regarding Distribution of Proceeds from Proposed ABC Store, seconded by Councilmember Jablonski. Is there any further discussion?
Is this an amendment to resolution 1114?
It takes the place of it, and the last line, be it further resolved, all other resolutions, in particular 11-14, in conflict with this resolution, are hereby repealed. So it repeals the previous resolution and adopts this one.
It's not a amendment, it's actually repealed now.
Correct.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Consider a budget amendment for public work vehicles. Steve Shealy, Adam Lippert. Do we have the specific numbers?
Yes, sir. I got them.
When we was discussing this at pre-agenda, we couldn't come up with those, and there was some confusion amongst the council as to what we was hearing. So we need those specific numbers read, is what we agreed to do for tonight. Hinkle has wrote down here is 62,870, is that correct?
Yes, sir. The F-350 utility bed, total cost with tax is $35,020. And the F-150 total cost with tax is $27,850, coming to $62,870. And I recommended to Anna we just round to 6,300, or 63,000, I'm sorry.
His recommendation is.
27 what then?
27,850.
His recommendation is to round it to 63,000. Motion made by Councilman Troutman. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Hinkle. Is there any further discussion?
So what did we decide to do on the, skid steer?
Nothing.
We're gonna propose that in the upcoming budget.
And we
at
did.
that time, you'll describe what a skid steer is.
Yes, sir. I will.
I can have some pictures.
Also, for clarification under discussion, it was, discussed and maybe needs to be an amendment to this motion, depending on what's recorded, that the one that, quit in January to be sold immediately.
We've cleaned that vehicle up, stripped it down. It's ready to come up here for pictures tomorrow. The 07, we're cleaning off tomorrow and stripping it down, and it'll be ready Monday.
And it will also be sold, the 07, so we try to get maximum return on it. It was a decent.
Can we amend our budget to say that then, that both will be sold?
You don't
It's
want
not
to, it's not the
necessary.
budget amendment.
It's not
That's something-
necessary. The purchasing
Right.
officer has the authority to do that, so we can take care of that.
But we already made that motion to sell those two items at the pre-agenda, did we not?
I think we did.
I think you did, so they will be sold.
I don't remember a motion to sell it.
In that case, we'll handle this and then we'll make a motion.
Not necessary.
Any other discussion on the $63,000?
Necessary.
Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Tell them it's not necessary.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Just to clarify for town records, is there a motion to sell two vehicles?
I make the motion that we sell the 99 Ford and the 07 Ford that the Public Works Manager has indicated to us in the agenda briefing as surplus or should be sold, as replaced with what we just passed on. So I make that motion that these be put up for sale as ASAP, or as soon as possible.
Before I accept the motion, is that first one a 98 or a 99?
99.
Okay.
99.
The motion's been properly made by Councilman Hinkle. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilmember Jablonski. Any further discussion?
These are both Ford trucks.
We've got them priced out there. I'm waiting to hear back from Chevrolet, just a comparable price, and I mean, we'll go with whatever the better deal is, I guess.
He's talking about the ones to be sold.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, yes, sir, they are both Fords, yes, sir.
Ford trucks.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Comments from, town council?
I have a request, I guess I could call it a request. When we have our agenda briefings, I didn't feel comfortable sitting up here, in the briefings. I felt like it was more formal instead of informal, so if we can set up, I know you weren't here for the, Citizens Academy, but we used a U-shaped tables.
We'll go with the recommendation of the majority, but after we had the fiasco on the pre-agenda the month before to where we couldn't hear from each other and everybody talking over each other, it seems that when we're sitting up here, I agree 100%, it is more formal, but it sure cut out a whole lot of chit-chat and we got through business a lot quicker and more prepared, in my opinion. But we definitely run by the majority, and if you all would like to entertain another option for pre-agenda, let's make that decision now, or if it can be done somewhat quickly, or we'll go with a different route. It's a pleasure of you all.
What was the setup you were talking about, Scott?
For the Citizens Academy, it was, U-shaped tables, so everyone could see everyone, and it was spaced out so you weren't all crowded up on top of each other, like sitting at that one table.
I don't know where we are here. I didn't feel like it was a formal situation. I just felt comfortable sitting here and evidently see what they felt, but I thought things went really good.
The only thing from what we had intended on was the table coming closer. It didn't get moved, it stayed over there. I agree, when you have the U shape like you're proposing, that makes it a little more personal. But at the same token, with town business, and we seem to be doing a good bit of town business at pre-agenda time, especially for, depending on what our seats are. Because we don't know from one time to the other who's sitting where. Right now, I think I got the bad chair tonight. I keep wanting to lean over in Paul's lap. So depending on where you're sitting, it's an uncomfortable experience, of course, but to me, we either informal, close and personal, or we run town business a little more formal and everybody respects who's talking and moves on with business. But definitely, whatever you all's pleasure is, we'll try to do it that way.
I'm open to either way. I mean, I didn't feel like it was too formal, but it was much more formal than our usual meetings.
But it was also more efficient.
It was definitely, I think it was also efficient because we have city.
We had a little bit of room to spread out. If we're at a table, we don't have enough room to spread out.
How about, is the council okay with we try what Sally would like to do at the next pre-agenda? That way we'll be able to compare it apples to apples instead of speculating and thinking. Are you all right with that?
If we do, I would like for it to be a separate table. We're looking at each other, and then rather than being,
It's
we're
not.
all around one table where I can't see half the people. And
It's
you can
not a
see half
round
the people.
table. We'll take 3 tables and make them into a U shape.
I understand, but we need to all be like we are now. We can see staff, they can see us. And, when we sat at one table the last time before, and you couldn't hear half of what they were saying,
And that's.
you couldn't see, and, I can see everybody sitting here.
So I think similar to the retreat.
Yeah.
And Jim, you hit on it.
Yeah.
You know,
that'll work, yeah.
I'm open to anything as long as we don't have, as the mayor referred to it, fiasco at meeting before last, agenda before last, because I left, not hearing half of what went on. As the mayor said, people talking over each other, things being discussed, things being voted on that I wasn't totally clear on. And so whatever we do, whether it's we remain up here or we go down there in a U shape, whatever, S shape or whatever, as long as it's something where it can be conducted in an orderly manner, everyone can hear and fully understand what's being discussed, have an opportunity to ask questions, and not trying to out-talk someone else. So I'm open to it, but that's what I'm looking for. And I'll have to say, at this last agenda briefing setting up here, I did leave feeling much better than I did the meeting the month before. But I am certainly open to try Sally's suggestion and see. But that's what I'm looking for, is just a more orderly meeting where we can more effectively and efficiently discuss matters and vote.
Based off of several conversations with you all, the atmosphere of a meeting is left up to the chair to conduct the meeting in as professional manner as possible, even though the pre-agenda meeting is not considered to be as formal. The chair is still responsible. So even though that other one was a fiasco, I can assure you, as long as I get a gavel close, it won't be that fiasco again. There'll be people leaving that wishes to talk out of turn and out of context. And all of you that are out there to come and visit, I think the town council would agree with me, we haven't had an issue with our citizens showing up, we welcome y'all to come. Staff gets excited trying to explain things, and then two council members are trying to explain something, and then it gets confusing. Or it did at that meeting, I guess I should say. So it won't occur again, but my question once again is, I'm okay with to try what you wanna try. I liked how fluid this last one went, but I'm not gonna say it's forever and a day. So if you wanna try it, by all means, I'm good with it if the council is.
Give it a try. Let's see what happens.
Is that all right there, Lou? We'll give it a try? Yep. Will you talk to Ann and kinda explain, I was not here, so I don't know. So as long as y'all are on the same page, we'll give it a shot next pre-agenda. Any other comments from town council?
I'm sorry, I was just gonna say, and I mentioned this just, very quickly to the mayor a few minutes ago. I know there's concern on, several of the council members' parts, as well as the mayor's, that, you know, some of these, things that we pass on maybe during a budget year, that are, come to fruition before the next budget, session comes up, fiscal year begins, where we can budget for it. We are taking, and I'm gonna use the term borrow, because that's what I'm about to propose, that we borrow from the, fund balance, but that at the, soonest possible, next budget, meetings that we have, that these, matters be, put or returned back in, these amounts be returned back into the fund balance. So I would request, with my colleagues' permission, request Ann and finance manager, officer to include these amounts, such as the $100,000 that we discussed this evening, and anything else that we've borrowed from fund balance over the this past fiscal year, be included in the budget, where we can return this money back to fund balance for uses of which, you know, as a savings account for the town.
So you want us to budget into fund balance in next year's
Well,
budget?
recommend, yes, the funds are returned to fund balance, yes.
If council member Hinkle let me expand, when we had our, retreat, one of the things there was a report from you on the state recommended levels of the fund balance, and when I asked why we were not in state recommended compliance, I believe your response was money don't grow on trees. And my response was, did you and or staff make the budget recommendations last year that were specific that we would be in compliance? And the answer was no. I think what Paul is saying is this coming year, we will have that recommendation from you as to what it's gonna take for us to be in compliance and to replace all of this money this past year that keeps getting added monthly. Well, we didn't budget for it, so let's take it out of fund balance. How much money did we spend this last year that way, so that it can be replaced to the fund balance? Is that?
That's correct.
Is that agreeable to the rest of the board? No, that's an expectation.
Yeah, we can do a report on it.
Because we keep getting told we didn't say things, so now we're doing it in public.
I didn't do a business spotlight this month. I think that was good, for having all the students here this month. But I spoke with Kim, and one of the things that I propose is to do the spotlight every other month for the council to consider, maybe even rotating with Councilwoman Jablonski around education, business, or depending on how heavy our agenda is, so that we don't have as heavy an agenda. So again, I put that out there, that we talked about going to every other month for the business spotlight. That also gives the folks who take the time to put their table up, they don't feel like, well, I just put it up 2 weeks later, I gotta take it down. Not enough exposure also, so just wanted to kind of pass that along. Also, in addition to, again, the business spotlight, we lost a business owner the last few weeks, Tally House. I wanted to mention that sad loss
comments from council? The last comment I will have from the mayor for now is, in doing a little bit of visiting with the community, I see we've got a couple folks from Tally and Inglewood areas that I have asked and sent messages to attend. The Erica is working. One of the concerns we've heard and what we want of record is that there's no sidewalks amongst Tally. And of course, right now, that is one of the heaviest pedestrian areas without a sidewalk. And a lot of neighbors are concerned. Erica, if you will give a brief, where are we in planning and trying to figure that out for the citizens' knowledge that are here?
Sure, so there's, 2 grant submittals through the Charlotte Regional Transportation Planning Organization. The first one is in May 6th, that grant is due. If we don't receive an award at that time, there's also a second call in September. So we have 2 opportunities this year to get funded. If funded, we have to pay 20% match and have to have the project completed within 4 years.
Then how many years?
4.
Did you all hear?
Yes.
I know that's not perfect news, but at least it's some good news. That we're trying to get some projects handled in that area. And also, and I believe they said we are 2 to 3 weeks away from our last paving, if weather is good to us. Is that correct?
There's on Lytton Street?
Yes.
There's a pole that needs to be removed from AT&T, but that's probably correct. I think that's the last holdout before we pave Lytton Street. Then we move on to Starks.
Is anyone around or near Patterson? How are you liking that paving job?
It's good. They destroyed where the pipes
It's
were
good.
on Brooks, but they put a patch over top of that, but I think the trucks were too heavy or something, but it sank it down, and then they patched it back up there, but I'm not sure if there's any damage underneath the roads. And the big trucks also broke the curbing out as well, so, I'm sorry?
All the pipes on there for water and fuel.
If it was damaged, it'd be coming up out of the road.
It was where it dropped it down about 5 inches, and they put a patch over top of it, so.
Have you seen one
Unless
of
there's
those?
an old,
I haven't
could
noticed
be
that.
an
I'll
old
check it out
storm
tomorrow.
drain, I mean,
Yeah.
they're
I
all.
just saw it. But it's very smooth.
I was real happy until I asked you. I think you're not happy. If these issues you're speaking of, if you will, please make sure Adam and Ann is aware.
Yeah.
When I went through a couple days ago, I was happy. I didn't see.
Oh, yeah, I'm
it.
happy with the paving, but it's where, I'm just concerned if there was damage done out there from the heavy loads.
Let our staff know, and we'll make sure that's right. Is there anything else? Yes, ma'am.
I was wondering if you have a date when the, light changing crosswalk will be replaced at the corner where we are. Yeah, someone
If we
said-
have a date that what?
That's the sign.
Pedestrian crossing.
That was knocked down by some.
Oh, it was marked down?
Does DOT give us an estimation?
Yeah, I haven't heard anything. I can check.
I was just concerned, because
Yeah.
I got playing crosswalk tracker with kids the other
Right.
day.
Yeah, that is, they need to get on that. I'll check into that tomorrow.
Maybe
Yes,
they
ma'am.
put up a couple poles out there, that they ripped their trucks up instead of the poles.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing on the Greenway. If there was a truck that came across the Greenway, I mean, it's where sometimes maybe big rocks again need to be placed at each intersection.
Problem with the big rocks is some trucks are big enough to just move them, no problem. They tore up the end of the sidewalk, so I've gotta repair that because of the rock. So there's really not a good solution to that. I don't know what to do about the trucks damaging things around here, but I understand.
Put spikes on them, and that way if they're
Spike, yeah. Yeah, we could put spikes on them, I guess. Yeah.
With regard to the viewpoint, you have, I guess because we're there, we notice it more. You have some fairly large trucks, semis, and you also have, some large campers that try to make a turn at that point in time, and you turn there. And I'm not sure it shouldn't be standing. I mean, it's dangerous for the kid, I'm sorry, from kid base, so it's dangerous for kids that are walking and trying to cross. And to be honest with you, it's dangerous when you see them make the turn, because they come into oncoming traffic
DOT highway, I don't know how much we could do as far as, you know, saying no right turn, but that they could.
It
but-
used to say that,
Did it?
several years back, but as part of our study, the, Killing Horton Consultants, they are very aware that we have, a large amount of truck traffic, especially for our town of this size, and they are looking, they are studying all the intersections from Moose Club down to the interstate.
Has there been anything, by previous councils, concerning Eastway and the limit of weight of trucks that can ride on Eastway?
Not that I know of, but that's probably something to be looked at.
I
Or
thought at
else
one
when they-
time, there is a sign on this somewhere, maybe halfway down, that has no trucks.
There's a couple, Thomas Street has no through trucks. And
Yeah, but I've seen 18-wheelers come down.
I'm not sure.
They can only drive, they don't read.
Is there any other council comments? Town manager comments?
Thank you. Yes, I've got two events that I'm going to ask Justin and Erica to speak to. Justin, you're first, please.
Well, first I wanted to say we're excited about the pavilion, so thank you. And then John mentioned a lot of people that he said thank you to, but John's been a part of most of that as well, so he deserves a thank you. But anyway, the first event is Front Porch Fest. We've got the bands booked just as of the other day. We have Todd Johnson and the Revolvers, which have a classic rock sound. We have Brooke McBride, which is our country artist, and then we have Troutman's own Flint Ridge, which gives us a little taste of bluegrass. We have 31 confirmed vendors, which means I have applications for them. A few of them we're still waiting on payment, but I do have the applications. I have a total of 45 that are verbal, which I'm waiting on applications, should be sending those in. So we're well ahead of where we were last year. So we expect a much bigger turnout. We're closing down part of Main Street this year. Last year it was down Wagner that we closed, but now it's a little bit of Wagner and a little bit more of Main Street there. We're gonna have a magician. We're gonna have little front porches set up, a bicycle safety town, a huge kids zone with inflatables. Zootastic's gonna be there. Of course, Southern Treats and Randy's are gonna be there. Just want to I could list off all the sponsors that we've got up there, but I do want to mention Troutman Chair Company is our title sponsor again. They've Gene's been a huge help in helping us plan the event. Law offices of Bill Beatty are going to sponsor the main stage where all the music's going to be. And one of our other big contributors has been the Exxon Stop and Save up there at Exit 42. So we're gearing up, and we're looking forward to having a mural up there.
Where's the main stage going to be on here?
Well, you know, Erica and I were talking about that this afternoon. I think about where her cursor is, sort of in the parking lot, on the Randy side of the parking lot, facing Randy's. We're gonna have Troutman Chair with their rockers and then picnic tables set up sort of in the middle of the street, but we're thinking in the parking lot so they can set up the night before and have it ready to go the next morning. Yes, sir.
I see, according to this, All in Green is closed.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Those businesses there at Subway and the doctor's office, all good for being closed that day?
They are. Dr. Patel's office is closed on Saturday. I was referred to his wife, though she makes the big decisions. And she said that she was okay with it as long as Subway was okay with it. And we've talked to the gentleman that run the Subway, and we're going to not put anything in front of Subway there so that people are still able to access their business. And that will be the kids zone, so there should be a huge draw of people there where we'll be able to go right in there.
And the Ardell Charter Academy has an office over there, and they're planning to open on Saturday because we're having this event.
Could I just make a comment?
Sure.
To be sure that the public is aware that there is a golf cart that's going to be available to those people who are unable to be on foot and want to go to the fest and get into it. Please.
We will. And we were also talking on the other side of that parking lot where the stage is going to be having some of those reserved for handicap parking spots. So it'll be, right there in the middle of things. But we will make that available.
We're talking Parks and Rec, and I'm talking the park. Any possibility that you can have one parking space in the park reserved for veterans.
I bring it up with the
Just
Parks and
take
Rec
this out.
Committee and see what they have to say.
She say one parking space. Hmm? Yeah, you can.
I'm married to my wife.
Is it just a veterans or just a veteran?
Just for Harris TV, a lot of the grocery stores, they will have a space for veterans. You're gonna honor them at the parade, maybe you'd like to honor them at the park.
We have a meeting Monday.
Mhm. Okay, if there's nothing else about Front Porch Fest, did you want to mention Rock and
I
Ride?
did, I didn't know if that was the second event you were.
No, it wasn't, but go
Okay,
ahead. We'll squeeze you
Also
in.
in conjunction with Front Porch Fest, we're having our first annual Rock and Ride, which is a cycling event. It is a 12-mile and a 60-mile bike ride. It's gonna start and end at Front Porch Fest. So, well, it'll end at start and end at the elementary school, so they'll leave from there and then go out 60 miles and then come back at a little after noon, I believe, and hopefully join the fun and come on in. So we're hoping to. It's the first event we've had for cycling enthusiasts in the community, so hoping to cater to that crowd.
It's been sponsored by Whiting Construction Company.
Yes.
What time does it start?
They leave at 9 from the elementary school, both the 12 and the 60 mile. I don't think they get back at the same time.
Pretty fast.
Yeah.
Who's the sponsor of that event?
Whiting Construction.
Oh, Whiting, okay.
And
Have
then
you gotten-
Randy's has also contributed to the sponsor for that.
Have you gotten many, registered people biking?
Not yet, but we are, we've just finished up sponsors for Rock and Ride and sponsors for Front Porch Fest. We're actually having, sending postcards to the printer, tomorrow and starting to publicize it, so we're 1 month out as of today and we'll kick it up.
Just wondered because, you know, Lake Norman Excursion, I don't know if you can get the word out to them. They're out through, Cool Breeze and Mooresville.
Okay.
Yeah, he's retired, but I still have his contact.
Okay. And then Jeff probably,
Jeff is assisting us with planning.
okay.
Okay, the last thing I have, Erica, talk about an upcoming event tomorrow.
You can tell that Justin's been doing an amazing job. Also want to thank Adam and his team for doing an amazing job. I'm so excited about our first mini porch. Troutman Chair Company, they created a mini porch last year in a couple of hours. They're making another one this year. This picture is top secret. Don't let them see it because we know that our porch has outdone their porch. It's got a swing-in screen door, a real window. It's just adorable, and I just really appreciate their work on it. It'll be here tomorrow morning if you want to see it. The third graders have their annual field trip to Town Hall, and so Public Works are going to set the porch up out front. The fire department will be here. Police will have all their lights going, have all their construction equipment out. Field trip's at 9. We do a police dog demonstration at 11 a.m. at the park, so if you'd like to join us for any of that, you're welcome.
What time do you need any elected officials here in the morning for the third graders?
The third graders arrive at about 9. So they walk from the elementary school, escorted by the police department.
When did you say then they migrate over to the park for the dog demonstration?
That's at 11.
So they're here most of the morning then?
They rotate through all the stations. We also have an administration, Steve and Kim, use the boardroom to do the clicker exercise, and I usually have some activity as well.
Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
At this time, we need to go to closed session. All in favor of motion to